Monahan.
Hi, Kitty.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Never Normal, everybody. Thank you for, hi, Rosie. That's my stepmom. Hi, Rosie.
Hi,
I love
Rosie.
Rosie. She's amazing. You should see like her Rosie is road tripping across the country and like planting amazing things and incredible human being. Thank you for being here. So thank you guys for being patient with us that this is Thursday at 4 o'clock and not Tuesday at 4 o'clock because we got vaccinated. What? I felt like balls yesterday. Twice.
Double vax. Double vax.
Double vax. I'm drinking my Pedialyte just so I heal. What? Gotta get me some electrolytes.
You gotta hydrate when you get your second vax.
That's right. Dude, I felt like I took 728 muscle relaxers yesterday is basically how my body felt for the entire day. I would love to know, people who are watching today, what your response was to the vaccination, because I want to talk about this a little bit. I hear some people, the Johnson & Johnson, I know people are getting blood clots and dying, and then they're not vaccinated. And then the Pfizer, people seem to not like be having that much trouble. I got Moderna, that kicked my ass, but I was also proud to use Moderna because it's a Massachusetts-based company, and I'm a masshole. What? Masshole.
I got Moderna too, but I'm from Rhode Island.
Well, New England, that's good enough.
New England.
Jackie, what did it do to you?
Nothing. Yeah, I was fine. It just hurt my arm a little bit, but I moved it around a lot. I was lucky. Yeah. And I was lucky because I went away the next day. But yeah, I had tons of energy. I was fine. Thank the Lord.
Thank the Lord.
But the funniest thing is Renee texted me that she felt terrible, and I thought it was emotional.
Yeah, well, I was emotionally terrible because everything that was wrong with my life, I was also contemplating. So, Rosie, you can't bring yourself to take this is interesting that you say this because it's kind of something that I want to talk about today, the opposition to why people do not want to get the vaccination. I'm interested on what people's positions are about it, but I don't quite understand the aversion to the vaccine. How do you feel about this, Jackie Monahan?
I can't comprehend it, but I think that might be partly because we both live in cities. Like, it's not a question for us. We've got to get it. But does Rosemary live in the city?
No.
Stuff. Yeah.
And in full transparency, I think it's like a liberal versus conservative argument. I'm noticing that people who don't want to get vaccinated are primarily conservative. I didn't realize that it was like a political debate. I just thought people didn't want to die of COVID. Is that my naivete?
I really don't know. I have not had a conversation with somebody that doesn't want to get vaxxed. Yes, Fall River.
Fall River. That's kind of a city.
I know Fall River.
You know, yeah. Jackie's from Rhode Island.
I know Fall River. It's near the Foxy Lady. There's a Fall River and Foxy Lady. Foxy Lady in Fall River. But Rosemary, I love that you're planting trees and stuff. That seems liberal.
Sort of. Is that? We don't know.
It's supposed to bring the aliens closer to us. Karen O'Donnell, Rhode Island. Rhode Island is right. That's where I'm from.
Well, I just got a message that somebody cannot make it because they thought this was on Tuesday. So I feel like the people who loyally follow us on Tuesday, I owe a formal apology. And this is the reason why you guys are watching us Thursday at 4. You have not lost your mind. We will be back on Tuesday. But here's my apology.
All right, guys, this is what's happening right now instead of Never Normal. Ready? Do it. Son of a bitch! I love it. Clearly that was a fake. I just got vaccinated 20 minutes ago because the Band-Aid's already on my arm. But this fine lady behind me is the one who vaccinated me. This is Vanessa. Look at these ladies doing the work, doing the good work. So thank you guys for being patient with Never Normal not happening this week. I'll see you at Thursday at 4 o'clock. And I hope I feel great. Look at these guns. I should have gotten arrested for bringing in these guns.
I love it.
Proud to be. Add me.
Facebook?
Look, I just made a bestie. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. At Renee Santos Comedy.
At Renee Santos.
GayRenee.com. No, not really a website, but it should be. All right. See you guys on Thursday.
Whoa!
Dun, dun, dun. That's my apology. I just want you guys to know that Vanessa and I are now like besties, and we became friends on Facebook shortly after I was vaccinated. So there's that. So if anything goes morbidly wrong, it's her fault.
It's her fault. Yeah. And
My
wait,
stepmom
can I just say, Karen O'Donnell said that she worked with me in Rhode Island, and Trista said she loves Rhode Island. It's fun. Nobody ever really talks about Rhode Island, so I like hearing about it. And I remember you, Karen.
Trista went to school in Rhode Island, right?
Johnson and Wales.
Yeah.
And when all else fails, go to Johnson and Wales.
Go to Johnson and Wales.
Johnson and Wales is a school where no one fails. Trista, it is a really good school. I know a lot of people that went there. A lot of people get good jobs after that. I love Johnson.
When did you move to LA? Do I know this?
Me?
Yeah, Jackie.
I lived in Rhode Island. I lived in New York City first, Manhattan.
I did not know that.
Trista, woo boo. And okay, so Karen, I had a lot of fun performing with you in Rhode Island.
You did? You performed with Karen?
Yeah, I performed with Karen in Rhode Island. Yeah.
Oh, at the Village. How cool.
That was really fun. I want to come back. Are they still doing shows there? Talk to me later, Karen. I got my Rhode Island accent. My Rhode Island accent's coming out.
I love it. See, this is part of the reason why we had to get vaccinated. Like, I like, all of a sudden I'm auditioning and stuff again, and like things are starting to open, and like they won't even let you in if you haven't been vaccinated. So it's not even like a political statement and like not trusting people and like, should I do it or should I not do it? I honestly, maybe this makes me naive, but I have not been that cerebral about it. The point is like, I want to go back out into society, and I don't want to be monitored or like have people say that I can and can't audition for certain things or come into certain clubs, or like, I don't want any of that. I want somebody to be like, are you vaccinated? I just say yes, and then I get to perform. I want my life to be that simple. It's about simplifying.
Same, me too. Also, when I went out in public, I mean, we live in a city. When we go out in public, I was nervous I would get corona. I didn't want to get it.
Yeah, there's that. I also don't want to die of an illness.
I don't want to get coronavirus. So I feel, I can go out and see people now and take my mask off a little bit here and there. They say now it's 2 out of 3. Like before it was stay outside, 6 feet apart, keep your mask on. Now, like 2 out of 3. If you're inside, leave your mask on. If you're outside, you can take your mask off. So it's, as long as I'm vaccinated, I feel like I have more freedom. But also, Renee, you and I both are in recovery. We're both used to taking drugs that we have no idea where it came from.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say something about that. Like, I think what's really interesting to me is when there's an opposition to this, like some of the people that I've spoken to that have an opposition to this, and I will leave them nameless, like, get high every day. And I'm like, you're worried about the vaccine, but the shit that you put in your body anyway, like, what is the litmus test for what kind of risk you're willing to take? Some people are putting, even if you drink, like you put poison into your body every single day. Yeah. And now you're concerned about this vaccine. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
I remember I didn't have health insurance for a time, and I needed penicillin. I ordered it online. And my friend was like, oh, my God, you got to test that first. A, how am I going to test it?
Yeah.
But B, I was like, we were at a club and somebody offered us cocaine and we went in the bathroom and put it up our noses. We didn't even know who they were.
Yeah, like who's testing it? Dude, when I ran out of cocaine and stuff, I was like smoking bathroom caulking and huffing Pine Sol. Like I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. Although I did have that moment when the whole coronavirus was like crazy and people were like dying for like no reason. I'm like, if I snorted bathroom caulking and huffed Pine Sol and I die from touching my face, I'm going to be pissed. You know what I mean? Like, how did that not kill me? I used to use cocaine when I had the swine flu. Like, I was crazy addict.
Wait, you had the swine flu?
Yeah, there were like 154 Americans that had it, and I was one of them. You're looking at her. In 2008, I had the swine flu.
I can't believe it.
True story. And then as soon as I was released from the hospital, because I had like 107 fever and they had to like monitor me to get my fever down to 101. And when I got released from the hospital, I immediately went and got a bag of blow, got loaded that night, and somehow still didn't die. So guess who's not worried about the COVID vaccine?
Yeah.
Me.
Wait a minute. I need to back up. Coughing fluid and Pine Sol. Okay, I didn't know you could get high from Pine Sol.
It works great. What? I'm not that I'm advocating it, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I do have some, but I would never do that.
You do have Pine Sol.
I didn't even do that when I drank, unfortunately. But you got some good news. You got good stuff going on here. The second Moderna vaccination kicked my butt. I got Moderna as well. Caulking? Tell me more about the caulking.
Bathroom caulking, you know, the thing that like seals tile?
Yeah, I know what caulking is, but what do you do with it?
You can melt it and I think it's a component of meth. I don't know, or it can be.
Wow.
I should not be giving drug use advice.
Okay, I'm sorry to bring it up, but it's exciting.
It is exciting how much my life has changed in the last few years.
But that's what's exciting about it. You are so different to me. Like,
I don't even feel like I'm the same person. I feel like I'm two different.
You have it so together, and you have so much self-love that this blows my mind. Like, I knew you did.
Yeah, I've definitely lived.
Putting up Pine Sol and caulking gun stuff.
Bathroom caulking, yeah.
I just can't believe it. Like, bravo. Because you have so much self-love. That's beautiful. Really
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah, I didn't always have self-love. I remember this one time I was running low on blow, and I did not realize that my ex-girlfriend had like broken her deodorant, and it was like on the counter. And so I accidentally sniffed like deodorant instead of blow. And that was very uncomfortable, although my nostrils smelled like lavender. Yeah.
Wow.
And then when I couldn't snort after a while, like I destroyed my nose, deviated my septum, couldn't get anything up my nose anymore. And then I had to parachute cocaine. Like that's how much I wanted to use. Again, why the COVID vaccine isn't scaring me. Like, do you know what parachuting is?
Yeah, you've told me, but you might want to tell everybody else.
Oh, guys, let me educate you. So when you can't get something up your nose, parachuting is when you would take rocks of cocaine and actually tie it off in like a plastic bag and then swallow it like a pill. And so it would take longer to hit you, but it would last longer, and then you didn't have to snort it and you could still get high. It's not good. Don't do it. Don't do it. But that was who I was before I got clean and started doing triathlons and taking care of myself.
I really can't.
So there's that.
I can't picture it. But interesting that we didn't not. Well, you knew me drinking when we met.
I know, which is so interesting, you know, because there's a lot of people in my life that I have two sets of people in my life. People who knew me in my active addiction that I don't talk to now, or people who've known me clean. But there's only one person in my entire life, aside from my family, but one like friend in my entire life that's actually seen me in the ugliness of my active addiction and also is friends with me clean. And so to see both of those human beings is very, very different because most people just can't even imagine me loaded.
Yeah, I bet. I can't picture it at all. So interesting. So interesting.
Like,
I would never, ever peg it. And I just have a really good sense of people. And I could peg people pretty easily because I study people, but writer. And I just would never have been like, she's definitely snuffed Pine Sol and melted cork fluid. Like I just wouldn't.
Yeah. My life is not as predictable as I look, which is why we do this, right? This is why we say that we're never normal, because we have to be careful about like defining it. Like no one thinks that. It's also why my Amazon Prime special is called Outside the Box, because I've never fit in any kind of box. Like no one thinks I'm Latina. No one thinks I'm a recovering addict. No one thinks I'm sober. No one thinks, you know, like my sister owns a big house in the Berkshires. People think I like come from money. And I'm like I'm a welfare foster kid drug addict, like from fucking Massachusetts, like nothing. None of that is correct.
Yeah.
And so I realized that like we have to be cautious, like what we assume about other people.
Right. What a beautiful human being you are. I love it.
What a beautiful human being you are. You are. We have another beautiful human being coming onto our show in about like 15 minutes. So hang tight, because our special guest today is fellow comedian Jennie McNulty. She is a rock star. She has her own show called although I think it's In-House Comedy Chat with Jackie McNulty. No. Jennie McNulty, but I think she's changing the title. She also does an incredible game show on Mondays at 4:00 called Pandemic Password. She's a delight. We'll bring her on in a few minutes here, but she's going to talk to us about the vaccine experience for her and also what her definition of normal is. So please stick around to the end. She'll be on soon. She's the best part of the show, right? Best part of the show.
And we want to say hi to Nicholas Snow. Hi, Nicholas Snow. Congratulations on your sobriety as well, and recovery, cleanness, all of the above, everybody.
And in full transparency, for those of us who know the definition of anonymity, Nicholas Snow did disclose his sobriety to us, which is how we can share it. If some people don't understand the concept of anonymity, they're like, why are you talking about being sober? Like, I thought you were anonymous. And it just means that I can say that I'm sober, but you can't say I'm sober unless I say that you can say I'm sober. Like, that's basically what anonymity, I mean, for the layman means. Like,
yeah.
I was walking down the street one time and somebody was like, hey, Renee, remember me from the Narcotics Anonymous meetings? I know you from the meetings. And I was like, dude, like, we're on the street, you know? And he's like, but you talk about it in your comedy. And I'm like, it's still different. You can't just be like, hey, on the street. Like, what if I'm like with the kid I'm babysitting and like,
right.
I don't even know,
right,
clean. Like, so yeah, that's the rule about anonymity.
Right.
So Jackie.
Yes.
Now that we're fully vaccinated, how do you feel about dating?
Dating is a nightmare to me. It's interesting too, because being sober too, I have dated over the pandemic. I did date a couple people.
You did?
Yeah, I dated a couple people. But then,
how did that work during the pandemic? Did you put like dental dams over your mouth?
Yeah. We were tested.
Okay.
And so whenever we spent time together, we got tested. But yeah, I'm not excited about dating, and I'm excited at the same time. But there's somebody I'm talking to that wants to just get married and like have our first date be like, they sent me a website of a chapel, like immediate wedding in LA, and we might just like go there and get married, like, and not ever meet first, just get married.
And you're still seeing this person? Why?
I think it's funny. Like, I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? What do you think is the worst?
She could like stalk you and kill you. Have you ever had a stalker? That's the worst.
I have had stalkers. I'm sure you have too. My thing is, this lady is really hot.
Sometimes you got to ride that train.
Yeah. So. And I feel like it makes such a good story.
You're doing it for the story. And sometimes, man, that's what it's about. It's doing.
I probably won't end up doing it, but there is a part of me.
Please do not marry her. You're not allowed.
What?
Do not marry her. You guys are going to elope before you ever see her.
I probably won't. She drinks too.
Yeah, that's a formula for disaster, girl.
Yeah,
I'm like, now we love ourselves.
I'm like, do you drink a lot? And she said that she drinks, and she said, describe a lot. And I said, more than 2 times a week and more than 2 drinks at a time. And then, and she was like, yeah, I do drink more than that, but just because of the pandemic. You guys, I probably won't do it, but it's fun to entertain it. Because I think it's funny.
It is a really good story. I mean, I have some dating debacles in the past that have been definitely comedy gold because of it. But in retrospect, I'm like, I also just wasted like many years of my life for a 5-minute joke.
I really, the best jokes I've ever had and the most I've written is when I date someone terrible.
Yeah. But I feel like when I talk about the people that I date that are terrible, it's usually like a horrific reflection on me. And it's not always about them being terrible. It's like rushing to Trista's point. Um, who, yeah, the dating, like, rushing into things, they're cray cray. Like that's me.
Yeah, I
If you
probably
can't
won't
think
be.
of that person in your life, you're it. And like,
Yeah.
I've had those moments. Like I dated somebody for like a minute and a half before I left Los Angeles, and then I moved my entire life across country to New Jersey for this person, and ultimately it didn't work out. And I think it's not even about a personal attack on either one of our character, but like things that start quickly end quickly. Like, let's be honest.
Right. And that's what I mean. Wouldn't that be fine? It's just, I'm not going to do it. But it's fun. It's been fun entertaining it to 2%. I'm not going to do it, but it's been fun entertaining.
It's been fun.
Only because they're really hot. Super hot. Hot.
Is there anybody in your life that you've dated that was really fun, but you've never seen them again?
Oh, that's a good question. I dated somebody for a year and a half that was really fun. That was so much fun. We had a blast together everywhere we went. Like going to the supermarket was a time of your life. And I had to break up because it was alcohol driven. But this is the whole thing. We would get sober together and I would still be fun and she would not. She would just lay there like, oh, this is so boring. And I'm like, I'm still having fun. Anyway, but so when I had to break up because I didn't want to be in this alcohol fueled relationship. I had to take on those characteristics because I missed them so
you're
much.
like a bit of a chameleon. I turn into a chameleon a little bit in relationships too. And I think that's like one of the reasons why like sobriety is not just about like abstinence. It's about like working a program and going through your stuff, right? Because like if not, you end up just doing the same pattern. But I also do believe that sometimes I'm not some enlightened master and the universe does for me what I cannot do for myself. So
I have been a chameleon in the past, and this was before my sobriety, but I felt like it was sobriety, like a sober thinking thing, because I wanted to have those, I didn't want to miss this woman. So I was like, well, what am I going to miss about this woman? So I took on those qualities that I loved, like having fun everywhere and like all the positive qualities, not negative qualities.
And I think that's important about dating. Like sometimes I think there's this stigma that like dating or relationships that are temporary are bad. And I really disagree with that. Like I find that this is how we sift and sort and like decide what we want and not want. And like, just because somebody is not our forever doesn't mean that they're not purposeful when they are in our lives and and it doesn't mean that you're using them. Like we have too much attachment to the permanence of a relationship. Like think about, have you ever met a friend and been like, God, I wonder how long this is going to last? You know what I mean? Like you don't meet your friends like that. Like you just stay present in the relationship and you allow like a friendship. Do you see what I'm saying? But when we get into relationships or somebody's potentially, that's the first question we ask is we think about its permanence as whether or not it's valuable to pursue. And I've had a lot of relationships that have been temporary that are incredibly valuable. You know what I mean? Like some of the most magical moments that I've ever had in my life, I had in New York City with my ex. And like that time will always belong to us, even though I don't, she was my bestie for like the rest of my life. Like that 5 years will always belong to her. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't regret it. And my first girlfriend was very much like the impetus to me deciding to get clean. Like I showed up in a relationship in a weird way and there was like a lot of betrayal on my part. I think I had to walk through that. And when I get back to the fact that she my relationship with her was the reason why I got clean. You know what I mean? Like, how could I regret any of these things? You know what I mean? Not just, we thought this was going to be a light card and it turned into a TED Talk. But don't worry, Jennie McNulty will turn it into even more of a talk in 4 minutes. So yeah, I think that's the thing for me with eating. I will say that the combination of really loving the sitting and sorting that I've done, I've like really calmed down in that. But I also I'm in this weird phase in my life, like now that I'm single and about to get my own place and everybody's vaccinated and like I also think, God, it has taken me so long to love myself. Like I don't want anybody to talk about. You know what I mean? I don't want to have
Wait
to
a
worry
minute.
about
Yeah.
it.
Renee, you're not coming in okay. Do
Oh shit.
you see yourself okay? But maybe it's me. Can you see me
I
okay?
do. Yeah, totally. Am I choppy?
And you can see yourself okay.
Yeah. I don't know why my internet is going out. What about now? Am I frozen yet?
Yeah, you're just super choppy, but I'm wondering if maybe
I should.
wait, talk now.
It
It
was the
was the
Wi-Fi. Oh,
Wi-Fi.
Tristan lives in my building, so that she's saying it's the Wi-Fi.
But you
What
sound
about
fine
now?
now. You're back now.
Trista, you fixed the Wi-Fi.
Trista, thank you, Trista.
Yay, Trista, for fixing the
Trista's a
Wi-Fi. I just
hero.
totally gave you credit for fixing the Wi-Fi for show. Well, this is probably a great segue to bring on our guest. Are you ready to? I'll let you lead the way. You want to introduce this beautiful human being to our show? Come on, Jackie, give her a good intro.
Our guest today has the same initials as myself, and we have been friends for years. We performed a bunch in Provincetown together, and we were on the same Olivia cruise, and I love her so much. And Renee told you all about her shows that she's doing. She's killing it. She just filmed her 200th show. And check everything that she does out. Please welcome our friend and yours, Jennie McNulty.
Yay! Jennie!
Can you see me?
You're just a black screen.
I am. That's kind of a bad thing, isn't it? Hold on. Why is that?
Can I?
I'll keep talking. Jennie, can I? Okay, you're back. There you are. You're here.
Yay! Jennie McNulty, everybody.
Jennie. Oh, Jennie's also a football player. The greatest football player on the planet. And she was on Logo One Night Stand Up. Is that true? Wait, we can't hear you, Jennie.
You have to unmute yourself.
There we go. All right.
Yay! You're here. Everything is working great.
No, you know what? I have an external mic that I don't know why it did not pick up. So, because I have tape normally on my laptop camera because I'm that person. And I must say that my favorite credit of all time is that I have the same initials as Jackie Monahan. You guys, I've been thoroughly enjoying the show and laughing my little butt off here in the backstage area of the show. And I think what you guys are doing is so awesome. It's like people need to hear it and know it and know that there's a happy life out there afterwards. So kudos to the two of you for being brave and talking
I
about
greatly
your
appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Jennie.
Oh, yeah, Jackie was saying, we love you so much, Jackie. What is your joke that is one of the reasons why it's hilarious that people think that we're lesbians? I'm going to butcher it, but I feel like you.
Oh, yeah. Nobody ever knows I'm a lesbian. And I always thought it was because I had long hair or the way I dress. But it turns out what's throwing them is my cheerful demeanor.
Which is really the template for this entire show, is some people do not believe that we could possibly be happy, joyous, and free and be clean. Mm-hmm. I even had people coming up to me yesterday, like roommates of people live in my community, like, oh, you didn't come to the Cinco de Mayo thing, like, oh, are you okay? Did you, or like, somehow I'm like depressed because I'm like, I don't want to watch a bunch of people get like wasted on Cinco de Mayo. Like my definition of celebrating Cinco de Mayo is not getting wasted in a courtyard. Like it's just like, what makes you think that that's the only measure? To me, that's not normal.
Yeah.
But chink, which is a great segue to the question, the coveted question we ask every one of our guests. What is normal to you, Jennie?
And I have been studying that answer because I wanted to be witty and smart with my answer. And initially I was going to say it's non-existent because there is no such thing as normal. But I've changed that to it's constantly fluid. It's constantly changing because what was normal in 1920 is not normal now. We would not be, three broads yapping about stuff would not be normal. Back then, we would have been in the kitchen with our husbands and our 3.5 children, or whatever. And so normal changes. So I think normal is just sort of what you need it to be to get by.
Oh, wow. I like that.
This is normal for me. This is what I like. And if it's not normal for you, okay, fine. Then whatever. But that's as close as I can come.
That's a great answer. I love that. Because, like, especially, we would all be, if this were the 20s, we'd be, like, married and thinking about women secretly and feeling like we're dying inside, right? Not showing our ankles. Does anybody feel like mouths are the new ankles? Just as a random aside, but it just reminded me of that. Like now when you see someone's mouth, it seems like really, really like controversial,
I don't ever want to not wear my mask though, because I talk to myself so much that it's wonderful. And now like I'm walking around like, you are a fucking idiot. And I could just say it right there in the mask and no one knows. So I don't ever want to not wear it again.
Totally. The mask serves its purpose. I had to go down to the IRS for like tax return weird stuff today, but like I got there like an hour and a half early and I was like waiting in line and sitting on one of the benches and I fell dead asleep with my mouth wide open and drooling, but because I had a face mask on, the mask caught all of the drool and nobody waiting in line saw the fact that I was like and I was like, this is great wearing a mask in public because isn't that the worst when you fall asleep in public and your mouth's open?
No, I was in CVS using my little CVS card with my little CVS coupons, the ones they give you on that giant receipt, right? And I forgot to, I'm like, I forgot to use this one. She goes, that's all right. So they had to re-ring it, and then she had trouble re-ringing it, and I look, and there's a whole bunch of people in line, and I go, I'm really glad I have a mask on right now.
Totally. What is with those receipts? That's not normal. One time I bought Altoids, and I got a receipt about 14 feet long, and I'm like, I bought Altoids.
You can use an app now. You can use an app now, and then they have the coupons on there.
And you know what? Then I don't use them if I don't see them.
Oh, that is true. Do you know? And you can go in and print them up right then. All your coupons.
Oh, that's an idea.
They have a machine in every CVS now where you could just go up to them and put your phone in, and they print them again.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep them anymore. But it's really the biggest waste of paper on the planet.
Yeah, I know.
But those savings are so good.
So good.
Those savings are so good.
Speaking of the new normal, like now when somebody waits on me at CVS too, like I always do the self-service checkout line, but like occasionally that line's longer and like I actually interact with a human being and it like freaks me out now. And I'm like, remember when this was normal and now actually interacting with a person is abnormal?
I hate those things. I absolutely positively hate them.
I do too.
Something always messes up. I always have to get people over there anyway, and it's kind of like, it's just annoying. I hate those. Jason Dooney's got a funny line about it. I don't want to butcher it, but it's something like basically I'm standing there watching him watch me do it. I'm watching him watch me do his job.
Yeah. When I do it and it's successful and fast, I do feel like I won the Olympics. I'm just like, yes. I feel the same when I masturbate without porn.
Without what?
Porn. I'm like, I did it. Yes. I'm sorry. That's too much information. I scared Renee. I think it scared Renee.
Renee
did not want to hear about me masturbating. She does not like hearing about me masturbating.
She's masturbating right now as we speak.
This is what happens when I when I talk about masturbating. She falls off it. I rarely do talk about it. That's the first time I said that, but that really happens. If I don't use porn, I'm just like, that. I did it. I can do it.
Oh my goodness.
Did you? So you're vaccinated. Did you feel sick after?
I felt, speaking of drugs, to me, it felt like waiting for the edibles to hit, where you're kind of like, okay, I don't know, am I feeling that? Is it psychosomatic? Because I have a little bit of a tendency toward that anyway, right? And I don't know, I can't tell. But then about 12 hours after my arm was sore right away. And then like if I touched where the shot was, I could feel like tingly, not the good kind. Just like, your skin feels tingly when you get the flu. And then my left knee, which is kind of my worst knee anyway, started to hurt. And then the other one, then pretty soon my joints were hurting. So, but that took up all of about 10, 11, 12 hours for that part to hit. Then I just took some Tylenol and went to bed, and I felt tired the next day. Like I had to do a show, and I had recorded the interview part. So I just did the top and the end of it, and I was just like exhausted from that much focus and concentration. So I was really tired the next day, but as from what I've heard of people, it wasn't that bad of a reaction. It wasn't nothing, but it wasn't horrible.
Right.
I had a very similar reaction to, I don't know what I missed because my internet was unstable. My emotions are not the only thing that are unstable. Apparently it's also my internet today. So
you froze right as Jackie was talking about masturbating. So we said you were masturbating.
You were like, masturbating. Did you tell her about how I texted my sponsor, speaking of sobriety, about masturbating about it? This is a random aside, and then I totally want to go back to this vaccine, but like recently autocorrect is a horrible thing. So like we were talking about dating now, which is what we were talking about earlier. And I was talking to my sponsor about whether or not I should date or whatever. And she gave me these exercises that I should write about and blah, 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 stuff I need to work on. And I meant to write when she asked me to do these exercises around relationships that I was going to marinate on it, like marinate on her suggestions. And because we're talking about relationships, I text back my sponsor, I'm going to masturbate on it. And she was like, I know we have like a really open relationship, but because it almost weirdly made sense.
That would be funny to like, everything we have to like talk to our higher power about if we don't know about it, about what to answer. That'd be funny to be like, yeah, I don't have a higher power. Masturbating is what works.
Yeah, it's masturbating works for me.
Like I don't know if I should buy this car or not. I'm gonna have to go home and really work this out. I have got to work this out.
It is healthy, right? We can't have shame attached to it. It's just not usually what I want to tell my sponsor. That's how I got through the 2 days of laying in bed for my vaccine too. What the hell else was I gonna do? No, actually, it's not true. I had no feeling in my hands.
Did you really? Your hands were numb?
Dude, I felt like I had carpal tunnels. Like every muscle in my body hurt, like including my forearms. Like I wasn't using my forearms. Wow. I was telling Jackie I felt like I had taken like 700 muscle relaxers. It really hit me really hard. But I also have an autoimmune disorder. And so my doctor was telling me I don't know if you could see it. I have vitiligo, which basically means that my skin attacks itself, but it's in my autoimmune system. So my skin is like killing its own melanin. So basically they said anybody who is already autoimmune compromised is probably going to have a stronger reaction to something that's being introduced into your immune system. You know what I mean? So, but I bounced back.
You did.
I want to introduce this into your immune system.
Yeah. But it did feel like it was like the first one was like, here's a picture of COVID. And the second one was like, bam, here it is. Like it really did feel like that.
Yeah.
Totally. If you're wondering what it looks like.
We still got to be careful though. I mean, we can't just be all willy-nilly like you guys were saying earlier. Still have to wear your mask and still have to, because they don't really know for sure if we can still transmit it, even if.
Right.
certainly.
Totally. And there's still so many studies being told about it. And like, I was just talking to my sister about who has a 1-year-old who just turned 1 yesterday. And, there were all these studies saying that if you're vaccinated, you can transfer some immunity to your kid through the breast milk. And now there's a study saying, wait a minute, that we don't think that that's true. Like, they're still in the stages of exploring the effect that this vaccine will have on everybody, because like my sister was like ready to make like oatmeal for her older kids with her breast milk just so they could get, because children, if you're under 16, like can't get it,
Right.
So like she has a 5-year-old too that's not really drinking her breast milk because it's not 1920.
Yeah, right. But actually, they are
and
selling that online at a knockup, because they normally sell breast milk online anyway, apparently. But they're actually selling, people that have been vaccinated are selling it for that reason. And if you might think it's weird that, to drink breast milk sounds really weird and gross, but we're drinking cow's milk if you drink milk. So
which is so weird, right?
We're the only species in the world that drinks another species' milk. In fact, like 65% of the world is lactose intolerant, because we're supposed to just, stop drinking it after a while. It's just weird. But
There's
but we think that's normal, right?
In milk.
Right. What?
There's pus in milk.
There's all kind of crap in there.
There's all kind of
like why? Like, I don't believe anything anybody says now. When people like with confidence are like, oh yeah, this is this and that's that. Like, I was told milk was really good for me my whole life. Like, I'm not going to believe anything that you say.
But
totally, it's so hard to.
Good for you. It was the Dairy Council that said that put that whole milk does a body good. Under the whole milk mustaches. That was the Dairy Council putting that out. Milk is subsidized crazy by the government.
And I also, our whole like nutritional pyramid is based on like a child's body. Like, when we're young and our bones are still partially cartilage, we need more high levels of calcium in order for our bones to solidify. But then once we get to a certain age, which is one of the reasons why it was like kids milk, but we actually age out of it. So there's a reason why like every person over 30 is supposedly lactose intolerant. It's because we all have bones and not cartilage anymore. Like, we're all lactose intolerant because we're not supposed to have that shit after a certain age. And like, they don't teach us that, which is sort of crazy.
And you can get calcium from so many other sources. You don't need it. Edible sources, not just vegetables. Yeah, right.
Spinach is a great source of calcium. I do have a funny breast milk story, and I hope my sister Terry's not watching, but this actually is a true story. So there was a window there after my last breakup where I was living with my sister, and my niece, who's now 5, was a little bit younger. And she would make like vats of oatmeal and like, but leave it in big Tupperwares like for the week. So you would just like reheat it and leave it in the fridge. And I fucking loved this oatmeal. I would eat it every morning. I was like, this is delicious. It was really Emma's, but I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm rushing on my way to work. Best oatmeal I'd ever had in my life. One day my sister Terry comes down to the kitchen. She's like, Renee, why are you eating that oatmeal? And I'm like, it's amazing. And she was like, I made it with my breast milk. And I was like, for like a week and a half, I was eating my sister's breast milk as like a full-grown woman.
I want that to be the name of your next special.
My sister's breast milk. Drinking my sister's breast milk.
Eating.
Done.
Eating.
Hey, look at how good my left foot did.
Yeah.
Surely my sister's breast milk would score as well as my left foot.
We are very close, but that was a little closer than I wanted
to. God. Eating my sister's breast milk is
done. That's the name of my second album. It's so good for an album.
And I think the most problem people would have with it would be eating. Wouldn't it be drinking?
That's the best part. I mean, if you heard eating my sister's breast milk,
you would watch that special to wonder why.
You're going to watch that. If it was drinking my sister's breast milk, you would watch. But eating on top of it, and it's a legit story.
It's a legit story that really, and guys, full confession, it was the best oatmeal I ever had.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry I said that. All right. I feel like this is a good segue into the last part of our show. So, Jenny, we ask every guest at the end of every episode, if you could pick your 3 karaoke songs, what would they be?
Oh my God. Anything by Marcel Marceau? Uh, sorry, that's older than both of you guys. He was a famous mime. Or maybe something by Yoko Ono, because I could not sound any
Oh
worse
my
than
God.
Yoko Ono, right?
That is so funny. I've listened to her music before. She's just like,
People be like, oh God, McNulty did a great version of the Plastic Ono Band. It was awesome.
That's so funny.
Shannon knows him. Shannon Von Lerner. Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, good. There we go. See? Anything by him. No, you know what? I don't like. I wanted to be a singer, but in fact, I sang "Dark Lady" by Cher in my 7th grade talent show.
Come on!
And my parents, in fact, my parents tape recorded with the old-fashioned tape recorder with a little microphone and everything, and they recorded it. And I came home all excited, thinking it was going to sound just like Cher, right? And I put it on, and I, to this day, have not listened to the whole thing. I went and I threw up. I was so upset, and I cried, and it was awful. So it would have to be Yoko Ono. Anything by Bob Dylan, I couldn't really fuck that up either. Or something by the Beatles, because they're really short.
Yeah. You know what, for me, the best karaoke song, We Got the Beat. Because
that's a really good one.
You don't need to sing for it.
Guys, I'm pretty cheesy.
Oh my God, Yoko Ono, you killed me with that. Dark Lady dancing, sing until the clock strikes 21.
That's the best. My karaoke song is Thelonious Monk is my go-to. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I love it. We got it. All right. When everything opens up over here, you guys, there's a karaoke bar right down the street from me. I can walk there. There's three.
Let's go
sing. Let's go sing.
Let's do it.
Let's go do. We'll be the Plastic Ono Band. We can totally do that.
Let's do it. I get up there and I'm just like, you guys are really lucky. I'm a professional singer. You're lucky I'm here. And everybody's just like, oh God. And there are like professional singers there. Like they take it so serious. And then I start singing and they're just like,
ooh, what happened? But karaoke singers that also try too hard, it's also too much because you're like, yeah, like that really get into it, and you're like, clearly you didn't get the platform you wanted, and you think this is good. So that's weird. Yeah. At any rate, all right, guys, that is our show for today. Jenny, thank you so much for being our guest. You are amazing. I hope you feel better, and in 14 days we're immune.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Drink your Pedialyte.
I forgot my Pedialyte. Sorry.
It's okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday at 4 o'clock here on my Facebook page. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.